Not too long ago, I posed a question right here on the Simpletivity channel, and I asked you, would you rather make more money or have more time? And after more than 1,000 votes, I was a little surprised by the results. Yes, make more money edged out having more time. So if you'd like to make some more money by doing just what you would regularly do online, you're going to love today's extension. Hello everyone, Scott Friesen here at Simpletivity, helping you to get more done and enjoy less stress. And here I am doing a Google search, and let me search for something like the best TV streaming service. And you're probably already familiar with the first set of results that I see here. They are all ads. In fact, I only see a sliver of the first search result that isn't an ad all the way down at the bottom. About 90% of my screen are advertisements. Now, not only can it be frustrating to have so much of your screen taken over by ads, but in my experience, many of these suggestions are not even relevant to my search. They're not even something that I'm looking for or that I might be interested in clicking on. But in the chance that one of them is interesting to me and I decide to click on it, I get nothing out of that interaction. Maybe I'm going to look a little bit further and see if it's the right solution for me, but the advertiser, the provider of that ad, is benefiting from my click. Well, what if we could do something a little bit differently? Rather than being bombarded with irrelevant ads, what if I could get recommendations that were specific to my needs, but I could also be paid for clicking on the recommendations that I'm actually interested in? Well, that's precisely where the Comrade browser extension comes into play. Comrade is a free browser extension available for Chrome, Firefox, and Edge users that not only gives you more relevant recommendations, but also pays you for your time and attention. Let's take a quick look at how it works as a part of just your regular day. So here I am within the Google search bar, and let's say I'm searching for a savings account for my college student son. I'm displayed with the regular Google search results, but within just a few seconds, based on my search criteria, I'm given a very targeted recommendation. And by clicking on this recommendation from Comrade, not only am I given something that is helpful to my search, but I am paid and added to my balance immediately just by clicking on this recommendation. So now that we know how Comrade is going to interact with us and give us some very targeted recommendations, let's take a look at the Comrade interface so we can adjust a few specific settings. Number one, I like that it keeps a recorded history. I don't know how many times that I've been browsing through a social media feed or I've received some other recommendation and then I've wanted to go back to it sometime in the past. In fact, maybe you just saw some type of advertisement on this YouTube video and you're going to remember it sometime in the future. There's almost no way for you to find out what that ad actually was. But with the Comrade extension installed, you're going to get a complete history. So here I can see a few days ago, I was not only presented with this recommendation, but I did click on this recommendation. So if I want to go back and visit it again, or I can choose to delete this history as well, I can do so here, right here within the Comrade interface. Of course, when it comes to installing any browser extension, especially those that are making recommendations to you, you probably have a question about privacy. But the great thing about Comrade is that it does not store any of your activity. And in fact, the recommendations are delivered based on real-time activity. So that recent search that you made, the actual activity that you are doing, it can produce a relevant and a very targeted recommendation without the need to store any of the data on their servers. Another very important one here is the reach frequency. So for example, how often would you like to receive a recommendation? We can choose to set this from 1 to 5 per day, 6 to 10 per day, or you can choose unlimited. So if you feel that you are receiving too many recommendations, you can always reduce this. In my case, even when I set things down to about 6 to 10 per day, I found that I was only in reality receiving about 3 recommendations. And the great thing is that all 3 of those recommendations were very relevant to what I was searching or for what I was doing at that point in time. Now, of course, when you are signing up for a service which is going to be paying you, there are going to be some thresholds before that payment is made. The good news with Comrade is that those thresholds are relatively low. When you first create your Comrade account and add the extension to your browser, you will be able to withdraw at just $50. And for some of you, that might be just a few weeks of activity. But if you do decide to complete your entire profile and invite 5 friends to also use Comrade, you'll be able to make your first withdrawal at just $25. So you don't have to wait to $100 or $200 before you have access to your balance. So if you'd like to receive more helpful recommendations and get paid for your time and attention, go to cmrd.com and install the Comrade extension today. And if you're looking for more ways to save time and get more done, subscribe right here to the Simpletivity channel. Thank you so much for watching, and remember, being productive does not need to be difficult. In fact, it's very simple.